Bloodwyrm's flame. It had lived long. Sometimes it seemed it had lived for all the time in the world, the usual cycle of life and death being little more than a farce. Its slow, heavy body was old and wizened. It had witnessed countless human lives kindle and then extinguish in the blink of an eye. It had lived with the heart it was losing bit by bit. It had forgotten how to roar, or gnash, or fly into a rage. The flames of war raged on in an endless stream of conquest and slaughter and death. In the face of this unchanging flow of history, the dragon finally grew weary of living. Conjurer's staff. No known magic could cure the little girl's disease. Her only joys were the nightly visits from a nameless masked conjurer who came to her with a magical staff in hand. The conjurer shared his arcane talents with her. One night, a shower of glittering light. The next, an orchestra of tiny songbirds. Another, the arc of a dazzling rainbow. Yet, the disease slowly consumed the girl's body. One night, when her time was near, she smiled at the conjurer and thanked him. Then she grew cold and smiled no more. The conjurer had been forbidden from showing magic to others, but when he returned and confessed that he'd taken the staff without permission, his master told him to keep it. That night, the conjurer clutched the staff tightly and wept bitter tears. Eternal Wail. Did you get lost, sir? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. A scholar, you say? How excellent! This village has a fine library. I wager you like it very much. There's a kind, beautiful lady what keeps the library running. She loves them books, she does. Spends all day copying tomes to make sure they ain't lost to time. But such beauty can be deadly. Aye, her twin sister sings by a village fountain, and she'll have your head on a plate if you make false moves on the librarian. Those twins protect the village, they do. Since when? Oh, I couldn't say for sure. Long and longer still. I reckon they'll probably do so until the end of time. Final Knell. This is the story of a spear that fell into the hands of a certain man. The man did not realize that his time in this world was growing short. But the spear knew. The man loved the sound the spear emitted, but did not know it was the weapon warning him of his impending doom. Alas, the man died in combat, the spear echoing out across the wastes. This is the story of one man's end. A cold, stiff body, and next to it a spear, quietly mourning the death of its 568th master. The spear waits for the day its cries can once again ring out. It has seen the end of countless masters across an ocean of time, and even today still waits for the next. Guardian's Oath. Oath the first. Be prepared to sacrifice all for the sake of His Majesty. Always pursue justice, even at the cost of your life. Oath the second. Always strive to eliminate evil from this world. Never surrender, though the battle may seem lost. Oath the third. Allow no evil to go unchecked, no matter how small. Show no mercy to criminals, be they man, woman, or child. Oath the fourth. Any who commit evil are equally deserving of death. Be they king or pauper, death is the only answer. Imperial Tears. The fertile land was fought over time and again, spawning mountains of corpses. The young lord who had watched the previous king die gave an order. "Burn it to the ground!" No nobleman or peasant opposed him. The fires were set, the green trees burned, the animals scattered, and the land the previous king had sworn to save was reduced to ash. When the flames finally died, the land was sealed and declared an eternal neutral zone. Over decades, it regained its beauty, but a single spear still resided deep within. It was once a sword, obtained by the king who had sworn to protect the land, but it was reforged into a spear by his ruinous successor and was now rusted beyond recognition. What became of this once promising land? None can say. Robber King. She was a prostitute with a habit of falling in love with her customers, but they fled whenever she proposed. This puzzled her, as she was unaware her job was viewed with disdain. One day, an ugly old man came to her. Once their business was done, the woman asked for his hand in marriage. He began to cry, for though he was king, none had ever loved him. The prostitute became queen of the land, but soon after the ceremony, the king was felled by his own heart, leaving her with untold fortune and all of his political power. The woman had been so close to happiness, but now her beloved was gone. Thus she took up his spear, the last memento of her husband, and fled the palace forever. Seer's lure. The youngest prince held ambitions of the throne, but his elder brother fought a campaign of great battles and earned the people's adoration. And so he had to be dealt with. The youngest prince was in a battle against a nearby kingdom when he looted a fine spear from a fallen soldier. Suddenly, a voice rang out. "Seek ye power." And the prince nodded. Many victories greeted the young prince, while his brother's fortune soured. Soon he sat upon the throne he desired so much. But then the voice returned. "Now I shall claim it." The new king lost all. His men died in battle. His wife and son died of disease. With tears of blood streaming down his face, he cursed the world and fell upon his spear. Sins of the Fallen. Research Report 1. We focused on psychological and religious research in our quest to conjure angels and express the divinity within us. But now we have a different hypothesis. Research Report 2. I refer to calling forth angels from nothing without a host. This force summoning theory suggests angels exist on a different existential plane. Research Report 3. If transforming into an angel is simply exchanging a life from this world with one from another, could we summon them without a suitable corpus on this side? Research Report 4. To perform such a summoning, I must summon myself from another plane while keeping my body here. Such power would make me the greatest. Spear of Empathy. In a poor nation lived two knights, one clad in ivory armor, the other in ebon black. They battled to bring fortune to the land, while occasionally sharing dreams over a skin of wine. But over time, they quarreled. The ebon knight began to distrust his despotic king, while the ivory knight strove to keep his oath. And soon the friends became bitter rivals. One day, a cadre of knights held a coup against the cruel king, led by the ebon knight. But the ivory knight slew his companion and quelled the rebellion, earning much fame and fortune. The ivory knight calmed his king's despotic nature and was given an ornate spear as a reward. But he refused, and instead insisted on using the spear that had slain his one-time friend. Thunder Princess. The strait was called the ship graveyard for its stormy waters. Few ships dared to cross it, and soon the nearby island found itself dangerously short on supplies. The islanders decided to make a sacrifice to the god of the seas. As they debated who would be offered up, the daughter of the island's headman gave herself as tribute. Once the fairest woman on the island, her skin was now covered in burns. Her father tried to stop her, but she donned the ceremonial armor and threw herself into the sea. Soon the waves lessened, and the sea was calmed. The large spear the girl carried with her stands alone on the seabed, occasionally quivering with the sounds of distant thunder. Twisted hunger. I detest ugly things. I hate the putrid breath of monsters, and I hate people corrupted by desire. How can they even stand to live like that? Morals? Morals make me puke. Trotting out truth and justice? Love for your fellow man? Pfft, what a crock of shit. How can people live in a disgusting place like this? Life is ugly, and people are nothing but fools. Why did the world have to end up this way? The rotten fruit tastes the most sweet. A rotten body is beauty personified. Why does everyone fail to notice these things? Five's spear. Life is grand. Who could ever be bored in this world? Anyway, I'm 5, which means I have 5 elder sisters, and there are 5 things I want in this life. I want everything Zero has. She's so strong and beautiful. And I also want 1's intelligence. Might as well take it while I'm in the taking business, I'll take 2's blinding smile as well. Why not? And 3 has those nimble little fingers. Ooh, I'd put those to some very good uses. And 4. 4. Well, I suppose there's that one little thing I could take from her. That thing she hasn't surrendered yet. See? Life is just too much fun.